top of the table.
Self love. These are words we get to hear and read almost everywhere these days. You need to practice self love, is the first thing that any guru or life coach or even a therapist would tell you. Self love is supposed to be an important pedestal in the journey of healing your mind. But the big question is, what is self love? Hi, my name is Sheetal Sharma and I'm your host on Top of the Table. And joining me is our very own Jaswandi Sahasrabudhe, who is our in house clinical psychologist. Hello, Jaswandi.
Hey, hey, hi, and what's up? You know, Sheetal, when you were saying all this, I was actually so much excited to be a part of this podcast because I genuinely feel self-love is one topic that I have been practicing very consciously these days. And that's why there's a different energy, like, I can do it. Like, it will be so much fun. So, thank you for having me on this podcast, Sheetal.
No, we are absolutely thrilled, like always, Jaswandi, to have you and to hear what you have to say about the subject. So let's just straight away dive in. Okay. So tell me, when I think of self love, being a visual person, I have this image of a person hugging himself or herself. So that is the image that I get. But what really is self love and why is it so important?
So, Sheetal, as you actually really very well imagined a person hugging himself, these days self love is such a hot and trendy topic. Everyone is talking about self love and hashtag self love yourself. And there are so many hashtags also, about self love. And it actually sounds great because I believe we need to really understand what is self love rather than just putting hashtags to it. Uh, I would say, just to give you a simple definition or explanation about what is self love, according to me, self love is to love yourself and accept yourself fully, to treat yourself with all the kindness and respect that you do to others, and also nurture yourself, that feeling of warmth that you give to yourself. Basically, when I have to actually summarize what is self love, and when I imagine self love, I would say it is everything and anything from talking to yourself, as you said, hugging yourself, prioritizing yourself, also taking break from judging yourself, from being extremely critical about yourself, to trusting yourself, to having a honest conversation with yourself, and also very important, Sheetal, to setting boundaries. Because if you do not have boundaries, that is what I feel, if you do not have boundaries, it is very difficult to practice self love, because then you are not able to forgive yourself. So it is everything and anything from talking to yourself to self forgiveness.
But do you also think that self love somewhere kind of brings in that element of, pampering yourself, going out, and because that is the most hashtags when, you look at all the Instagram and Facebook posts and you see people essentially, going out maybe at a salon and spending time with their own self, and it's always hashtag self love. So does self care also come under the purview of self love?
Yes, Sheetal, so I would say that is the first step. Because, see, we cannot take bigger steps and then fall down. It is always better to take smaller steps. And first smaller step would be actually doing that you can actually feel physically good, and not just physically good, but when we speak about pampering yourself, yes, it is like more than listening to your body. It is when you're working for like at stretch, say 8 9 hours, taking breaks in between is also loving yourself, because you're giving that break to your body from being cognitively, from physically involved in doing something, like moving out, stretching can also be a part or a form of self love at times. I would also say, Sheetal, these days the world is of hashtag, right? You might have heard people talking about hashtag digital detox and hashtag
Yeah.
self-love. So self-love can also be taking you away, take giving yourself some time, digitally detoxing from the social media world, from the world which is now, I would say, getting toxic. So when you try to do something just for yourself that makes you feel good, I would say that is all is self love. And if you ask me, according to me, it is extremely important to practice self love. And the answer to this why is because I have realized this, Sheetal, that when you actually start loving yourself, you stop being dependent on others to actually have your sense of worth. You start looking at yourself as worthy. You start giving importance to yourself rather than waiting for people to say, "Oh, Sheetal, you're so sweet, man. You're so considerate. You're so empathetic." No. When you're actually practicing self love, you yourself understand and accept that I am empathetic. I don't need to go and ask people, "Oh, do you think I'm empathetic?" So self love does also, I would say, enhance your self worth and self esteem at the same time.
So, Jaswanti, while you were talking about all these things, one question that actually popped up in my mind was, when we talk about, prioritizing ourselves or taking breaks and, trusting yourself, being true to yourself, or even, kind of digitally detoxing or listening to our body, taking out time for ourselves, all these things actually indicate towards you prioritizing yourself and your physical and mental health over anything else that's happening around you. However, a lot of times, the people around us or our society kind of makes us believe that if we are engaging in this kind of a behavior, we are selfish. We are not doing anything for anyone. And we are only thinking about ourselves. Is that true?
So, Sheetal, yes, you rightly said, but there is difference between self-love and being selfish. Self-love, basically, Sheetal, I would say, is when you are looking and thinking what is good for yourself and not harming others while doing so. When you're selfish, you're just trying to climb on someone and grow, right? When you're talking about self-love, it is more about doing something that makes you feel good and that makes you grow as a person. So I would say in today's world, which is, it is uncommon to run ourselves, to like exhaust ourselves, like to feel, "Oh my god, there are so many things that I'm doing and I don't think I want to do it." So while hustling, to make your job, like to stand out in your job, to do something good, it is difficult, but it is very important to actually practice self love, to actually take time for yourself, to take effort to pamper yourself. And I guess this is where it comes self prioritizing. You are not saying, "Sheetal, I will make sure that you don't grow and I'll grow." I'm not saying this. I'm saying, "Sheetal, I am going to prioritize myself. I know you want me to do XYZ thing, but I guess right now, what is important for me is to look at myself. And rather than working for, say, 9 hours, currently I want to take a break and, say, practice a dance form that I really like." Basically, it's giving yourself the first priority. Again, a simple example, Sheetal, that I would like to give is, for example, 15 minutes time when I start my day. Okay, I generally try to practice self prioritize. I try to wait and sit down 15 minutes when I wake up. Okay, and I have everyone around me saying that, "Okay, you know what, this is going to happen, and that's when I decide, okay, I want these 15 minutes just for myself. I don't care what is happening in the house. I don't care what is happening around me. I want to I want to pamper, I want to talk to myself for this 15 minutes." So every day my 15-minute routine, as soon as I wake up, is I freshen up, and then I actually pamper myself with good products. I sit down in front of the mirror. You might feel it a bit weird, Sheetal, but I sit down in front of the mirror and I start talking to myself. I spend these 15 minutes when I'm actually applying a few products. I spend time talking to myself in a way that will help me feel good and positive throughout the day.
And just one thing, honestly, that is a very important step in starting your day. And that is something that I used to practice, but haven't been in practice, for a very long time now. But when we talk about, conversing with yourself or, the idea of self talk, I think it is also very important for us to notice the kind of words that we use for each other. When we use words like, or we use sentences like, you are so stupid, or you are so careless, or, other demeaning words, where you are possibly disrespecting yourself. If you closely note, these are also words that were used way too often, maybe during your childhood, either by your teachers or parents. So it got so ingrained in your mind that every time you do something wrong, these words come back to you and you keep kicking yourself down. However, I think when you are, engaging in self talk and positive self talk to talk about, I think you need to kind of carefully examine the words that you're using, and also, if I may use the word, reparent yourself.
Yes, a very nice word, I would say, Sheetal. Reparenting, yes. I would say, Sheetal, the words that we use are very, very important. And I don't know how to react to this, but Sheetal, I have been consciously using certain words. I'll tell you, in psychology, in therapy also, we are taught about the shoulds. I'm sure you might realize this, that a lot of times we use the word should so many times that makes us feel, oh my god, there's no way out. I have to do it. Like there's a compulsion in here. So whenever I use the word should these days, I generally reframe it by saying I might be able to do this, or I maybe there's a possibility that this might happen. So when you actually change the word, as you rightly said, when you reframe it in a positive way, or I would say not even in a positive way, but less negative way, I would say, it really helps you to look and change your thoughts to a great extent, Sheetal, because in psychology, we talk about thoughts so much that your words do dictate your thoughts. So just to give you a I would say glimpse of it, whenever if we have positive sentences in our if we use positive words in our sentences, we tend to look at the positive side. On the other hand, I'm being very critical of myself and I start using very negative or not so positive words. It does affect my day, because when you're starting your day with a negative sentence or a negative word, you know what, for example, you know what, I am going to have a very hectic day today. I have 9 calls scheduled. It is going to be horrible. And Sheetal, trust me, the next day when you wake up and if you use the same, you will have the week which is completely a negative week. And you realize, what has happened? Why am I feeling so drained? And here is where comes self love. Because here is where you need to understand, okay, if I tweak and change my words, I might actually be able to have a better day or a better week. So listening to your inner voice, yes, makes a lot of sense, and yes, helps you to practice self love as well.
And honestly, Jaswanti, when you were talking about should, and it brings me, brings some memories back to me. Back in 2020, when I was attending this workshop of, transformational therapy, and honestly, we spoke about shoulds and what shoulds really mean. And should, when we use the word should, it somewhere is a baggage that we are carrying from our past, which we continue to pull out even now. So if I have to ask you, for people like those who want to shed that baggage, okay, and who want to transform their life and get into the action of self love, can you suggest any small exercise that they can do, maybe replacing like the word should with something else, so if you could just, tell our listeners about some exercise that they can do, on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis, so that they can see that transformation and get into this self love mode.
Yes, Sheetal. So I will say, as I said about shoulds, using the positive. For example, I am saying, as I said, right, I am having 9 calls a day, and I am sure the day is going to be very hectic. But today, when I start my day, I start my day saying, you know what, the day is going to be horrible. I'm going to have a very bad day. Now, if you think about it, if I change the statement that I started with by saying, you know what, Sheetal, I have 9 calls. However, I have an amazing dinner in the night, and I really look up to it. So all your focus is on the dinner and not on the hectic 9 calls that day. So basically, whatever you start your day with, or even whatever you talk, you need to be very careful about the words that you use. For example, as I spoke about shoulds, you need to replace the word but as well. Because I'm a good dancer, Sheetal, but this is something that I cannot do well. Now, here, I'm saying I'm a good dancer. But again, I'm saying there's something negative attached. So the human brain is such that he will always remember the negative thing and not that I'm a good dancer. So there's one more thing that you can do is replace the word but with however. However, when you hear this, Sheetal, I'm a very good dancer. However, I believe I can improve in XYZ thing. This makes me feel okay. I am a good dancer, I can dance well. So that gives you a sense of positivity in you. So every time, so this is for all the listeners, every time you use the word should, replace it with might be, or there's a possibility, if I would be, so that there is a possibility and there is no compulsion. Second, if you are actually using a lot of buts, use the word however instead of but, because as I said, Cheetal, a lot of negative words will generate a lot of negative thoughts only. So in order to reduce your negative thoughts, it's also important to use positive words.
Absolutely, Jaswandi, and it is so right that you set the tone of each day, the way you talk to yourself, and the kind of words that you use. They basically set the tone for the day, and therefore you have a super hectic day, or a super awesome day, or a day which was loaded with work but ended on a high note with maybe a very nice dinner or maybe a nice movie or something else. You know, and also talking about boundaries,
Hmm.
Jaswandi, and we keep coming back to this subject, I think, everywhere because they are so important. you know uh, what do you think, that why are boundaries a way of telling the world and even yourself that I matter to myself? Would you say that?
Yes, I would say that. So, Shidul, there are boundaries. When we speak about boundaries, there are two sides to look at it. If you do not have well set, well maintained boundaries, you will find it difficult to actually practice self love because you don't know where to stop. Similarly, if you have good set of boundaries, okay, this, come on, man, this is where I need to stop, and this is where you cannot come in my circle, is when you're actually building yourself, when you're actually loving yourself, when you're actually taking care of yourself. So, Sheetal, you know what? Boundaries do cater to a very important element when we speak about self love. When the boundaries blur, we tend to extend ourselves and exert ourselves so much that we forget to say a no. And I'm sure all the listeners have already gone through our previous podcast of saying no. However, if you ask me, we can build and maintain boundaries. Yes, there are ways that we can actually practice to build and maintain these boundaries. I would say the first one is to get to know yourself. There is a lot of self reflection which goes before you start your journey for self love, Sheetal, is what I feel. Because if you do not reflect, you don't know where do you want to set boundaries, in what way do you want to set boundaries, what are your limits, who is someone who you can let in. So self reflection and getting to know yourself is the first and the most important step. The second important step, according to me, would be to be assertive. When I say assertive, is when you actually want to convey something to someone, especially in terms of boundaries, it is important to make them aware that these are your boundaries. So, for example, I'll give a simple example, and I'm sure all the listeners have experienced this once. When you have ordered something, you go to a pizza outlet and you order a pizza, say with a capsicum and onion on it. However, the pizza that you get does not have onion on it and has, say, olives on it. However, if you do not have boundaries set, you might not be able to address it. So, if I have my boundaries set, I would say, hey, when I had ordered my pizza, I had ordered this. However, you know what? I have got this. Now, a person who does not have boundary would say, "Oh my God, how should I address this? Will this person judge me? Do you think I should be speaking about it? What would other people feel?" So, when you have your boundaries, is when you can speak and stand for yourself. Again, that is self love, right? The third thing I would say is do things that make you feel good, because I'm a strong believer that if you are doing things that does not make you feel good, or the things that make you feel uncomfortable, you are not setting up your boundaries. You are not engaging into self love, or you're not practicing self love. Last but not the least, Sheetal, something that I have also spoken about when we were recording the podcast on saying no, offer an alternative. Because, people find it difficult to accept a no. But if you give an alternative, when there are options, you are like, yeah, she didn't say no, she gave me an option. So, offering an alternative can be a good way to set up your boundary. For example, I'm not comfortable with doing A sort of work. Do you mind if I can do B sort of work? Now, if I would have said no completely, the person would have said, "Oh, how can you say no? You're supposed to do this work." On the other hand, when I said I can do B sort of work, I'm actually saying, okay, I'm okay working, but this is my boundary and I cannot go beyond this. So Sheetal, these are the four ways, I guess, that people can practice to actually set and maintain the boundaries.
Or just Vandi, like you had mentioned that example of pizza. So telling the waiter there that, well, I do not mind having olives, but I ordered for something else.
Yes, and I would say, Sheetal, however, I ordered for something else, because as we said, we are
Absolutely.
not going to use the word "but" anymore. But Sheetal, if you see,
True, true.
if you realize this, that these are the steps that can actually help us, and I'm sure all of us do this, but we do not consciously practice it. Don't you agree to this?
And also coming to one important, topic that we kind of, picked on while we were talking about self love, which is self forgiveness. Now, I am sure a lot of people might think, what self forgiveness? Yeah. I mean, I haven't made any mistake. I mean, what do I forgive myself for? So what does one forgive him or herself or themselves for?
So, Sheetal, these days people find it difficult to apologize. And I'm sure you will agree to this, that people, as you rightly said, people say, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong." Like, what, man? There's nothing that I did wrong. And when I say this, it includes both self and others, okay? Like, something that you were wrong at, but you do not want to point it out because you get that weird feeling from inside because you're not comfortable accepting it. So when we find it overwhelming to forget and forgive, it is only because we really deal with an uncomfortable situation and event. So forgiving yourself is more than just putting the past behind and moving on. It is about accepting what you have gone through or what happened, and most importantly, showing compassion about yourself. That, okay, I am a human, I made a mistake, I accept that this is a mistake, and I need to find a way out of it. I cannot just keep going around that mistake and blaming myself and criticizing myself and getting into that negative thought loop. I need to be accepting it and I need to find a way out. So, this is where self love peeps in, because if you're not practicing self love, Sheetal, you will be every time overly critical about it. You will not find it easy, or I would say you will find it difficult to accept yourself as well, forgive yourself. So, because you will always keep thinking that I do not deserve to be loved, or I do not deserve this because I did a mistake. And if I've done that mistake, that is so terrible. I cannot just move out of it. How dare I'm doing this? How dare I'm enjoying it? So you see, if you're not self forgiving, you are not even self loving. You're not engaging in self love. So it is very important to forgive and also accept that there was a mistake. You moved on by giving a solution to it.
And honestly, just one thing, it could be anything as simple as, getting angry, maybe with your mother, or yelling at your partner, or whatever, and you need to forgive the other person, but it's equally important for you to forgive yourself because you constantly carry the weight of that feeling and that strong emotion that you felt during that point in time, which fills you with a lot of
True,
negativity.
true. I completely agree to that. And Cheetal, that's why I always believe, and I will always say that self-love, practicing self-love on a daily basis. And Cheetal, I will say, when I started my journey towards self-love, I will say initial days it was very difficult. because I had to actually force myself into it, because obviously that is something that I was not used to it, so I had to force myself. However, now if you ask me, I cannot miss a day without sitting in front of the mirror for first 15 minutes, and I feel so good each day when I do it.
Absolutely, Jaswandi. And that is a practice I think that we would recommend all our listeners to start practicing as well. Baby steps, maybe not all of them at the same time, but to start with, to use that hashtag self love, I think all of us need to kind of start taking breaks, talk to ourselves with love, be self forgiving, set healthy boundaries, and also take a little bit of time out for pampering ourselves. I think that would be a good start. So thank you so much, Jaswandi, for joining us and giving us all this important information, which would be very crucial, and also giving us that exercise, of replacing the should and talking and how to say a no again. And thank you, all the listeners. We will be back next time with another episode of Top of the Table.